Hello and welcome to the Next Perfect Step. Here we are in Kim's beautiful healing studio in her Ravens Rest Ranch in Wolfboro. She's got some beautiful scenery outside, and we'll be going out to visit the horses a little bit later in the program. We're doing this today because we're excited that we're going on to our 4th season. Can you believe that?
I know. It's a lot.
Our first episode was with Lori Mullen, myself, and Joan Rossi. After a girls' weekend, we went out and we came up with this brainstorm that actually Lori did, of doing a podcast with open conversations with people and presenting like-minded ideas, building a community. So that's what we did. Lori and I continued for 3 years together. And then Kim joined us, and we're
about a year ago.
Yeah. So she was a great addition. And
thank you.
Yeah. And now Lori has stepped away for her own personal journey, and now Kim and I are continuing. And it's just been a wonderful. In the coming weeks we'll have some older episodes and maybe have Lori back on and some things. But we're really excited about going into our 4th year.
It's great. And I was so happy when they asked me to come aboard. I always thought that the Next Perfect Step podcast was one of those podcasts that I really enjoyed watching because it seemed like very intelligent conversation. They opened it up to the community, not just around here, but all over. And several guests that have just so much to offer. And I think that the growing consciousness, the higher consciousness that we're all sort of jumping into right now, especially the listeners that follow this, there's so many things out there that are helpful in the healing process. And I think, it's really important to be able to have a venue where you can go and say, oh, wow, they do that or they do this. And we've had some dynamite guests that have really helped us share with others what is available out there. So today we've decided to have you guys get a load of what we do and get to know us a little bit better, right?
Yes.
So, yeah. So you are
I am a Reiki master teacher. I really enjoy teaching classes. I love the energy of the classes. I have my own studio and clients. I also we both have a blog on Substack, and I've done some channeling work, writing, and through my music, my piano music, and also I think that's opened up through Reiki, is the channeling aspect, and I think we are all channelers, and that's available to all of us.
I would definitely agree with that, and I think the same goes for self-healing. And I don't think just, emotional healing, but I think everybody and anybody is capable of physical healing as well as emotional healing. And they really do go hand in hand, in my opinion. So we're going to kind of start out with what I do, and we're going to maybe do a few little demonstrations. But first, we want to just kind of explain why we both are into that healing practice and what our thoughts are on that and what, kind of how we feel about it. And I know for myself, I really think that it's an individual pathway to full healing. And I don't think anybody ever fully heals because we're always in the process of learning more and doing more. But I decided to get into the healing work because of my own injuries that I had to overcome. And I've overcome quite a few. So I feel fortunate now because I think of those as the reason why I do the work that I do, is because I had to get pushed into it, but I also can relate to a lot of people that are going through certain physical problems that they have with their body, because I've been through several, and not all due to horses. Just I always have to clarify that because the horses are not always the culprit in getting injured. Sometimes it's self-inflicted wounds by accident. And so I use a lot of different modalities. I've taken a lot of different healing touch courses, Jinshin Jutsu courses, quantum touch, Reiki. Like I've taken quite a few different ones, and I find for myself when I start to stick to too much of a protocol, and I don't use my own intuition, I'm not as fully present as I am when I just listen to the body, observe what's going on, ask questions, really get to know the person. That's when I feel like my intuition knows which avenue to pick from in order to help the healing process.
Good point. Yes. And I think the name of our channel, The Next Perfect Step, is about listening to and following your intuition. And I think that's a very key component to not only living day to day, but into the healing world as well. I agree with you, Kim, about, we have a protocol through what we've been trained into, our healing techniques and traditions. But in addition, we both use our own intuition and guidance, connect with the person's higher self, ask for guidance from their higher self and their guides as well as ours. So we have a lot of help available to us, seen and unseen, and that's what we can rely on. And our own inner wisdom is always something that's available and a treasured part of our knowledge. So I use sometimes I use crystals. We both have we were gifted two wonderful selenite swords of light, and
handmade.
Yeah,
I'll
yes,
grab mine and show.
Which we have used, and it's pretty powerful. The selenite just really comes in and takes in the energy and transfers it, and you can really feel it. And I have one in my studio, and we have joined them when we work together, sort of in a distance, as they're connected. So they're really beautiful.
Handmade.
Yeah.
There's copper tubing in there with crystals and water from Peru, or I forget exactly where they get it from, but and then the selenite, and it just, I mean, people feel it.
Yes.
Like you hold it against them, and sometimes my hand shakes because it gets so much power in it. And we're fortunate enough to be able to work together sometimes, and that is super powerful.
Right.
When you combine energies with somebody else, especially somebody that you're close to, it's really amazing what can occur. My sister and I have, actually both my sisters and I, one sister I've worked on people with and animals, and the other one horses with. And so it's pretty wild when you can get somebody else's energy in on it too.
And we want to thank our other friend Lori for gifting us these swords. She's just an amazing friend, and we want to thank her.
Yes, definitely. I got to know her because of this sword, so I'm extra thankful for just getting to know her. She's an amazing person, and she had both of these swords, so she felt Lori and I should have them so that we can stay connected with our healing work, which is pretty wild. So I'm going to have Lori lie down on here, and I'm just going to demonstrate a little bit of what I integrate a lot of different things. And one thing I did leave out is that I've worked for a chiropractor for several years prior to this, teaching exercise programs for a lot of her patients. And so when I do my energy healing work, I also do stretches along with that. And we probably don't even need to demonstrate, but just, if you don't mind, that would be great.
I love your sessions. It's just always amazing.
So I also use tuning forks in all of the sessions that I work with, because frequency and vibration is, in my opinion, and I think a scientific proven fact now, that really is the basis of how the world works, how the earth works, how the universe works. And so connecting those different frequencies for different issues is pretty incredible, and what you can really get from it is pretty incredible too. So I would analyze somebody's body and see, like, if they lie down, are they off to the center? Are they this? Are they that? And I have been certified as a personal trainer and aerobics instructor, which I obviously don't do aerobics anymore, but I don't miss it either. That was, fun while it lasted. So, and I look to see if like the sides of the body are symmetrical, if the leg length is the same, which I always say, bring it back to the foundation, the pelvis, and that's kind of where you work from. So I might do like a little bit of Jinshin Jutsu, holding 2 spots as jumper cables so that you can, kind of connect the energy that way. And it's all based on, I'm definitely not, I would like to take a lot more courses in it because it's so in depth. But I might just, from what I've learned, hold a couple of those spots. And then I might, go to where my instincts are and maybe, just kind of touch the body and see if my energetic field reacts to certain areas of the body and that I would like stay there. Or, with the head, I might even work on the chakras to try to balance them. I actually have a tuning fork that I use for that purpose. And I always forget the number, so I have to look, which is terrible, but 256. And this is great for balancing the chakras, so I use that a lot. These are quiet forks, and because they go against the body, where this one in particular is what I call the love frequency, 528, and that would be one that you would hear. And they help with clearing the room after you've worked with somebody. I also would, if I find a spot on a person that might need to be shifted, so if I got some energetic heat over here in the hip, I might actually do some stretching for that. And active isolated stretching is a form that I use, or proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation is another one that I use, where I'd actually ask them to press against my hand for a few seconds, like 6 seconds, relax it for about 3, and then bring in more of a stretch. I might find that, their posture, their hamstrings, the back of their thighs need to be stretched. So I would use one of those methods in order to get more flexibility into the hamstring. I would check out their shoulders to see if they're rolled forward, and maybe work on stretching all the muscles that go in to make up the rotator cuff. And, I have a very cushioned mattress topping, so I can kind of stretch without causing too much friction. But I really let the person kind of guide where those stretches go and how far. I have been blessed with the ability to sometimes see within the body. So I can really kind of guide myself when I'm not sure I should stretch certain areas. I usually get a little bit of an alert. And I don't ever try to diagnose or tell people what to do. I never stand in the way of people going to doctors. I don't choose to myself, but I certainly encourage people to do whatever resonates with them. But I might just say, when is your next doctor's appointment? And maybe you should have them check this, that, or the other. But I never really look at the body as a problem. I look at the body as perfection. And then how can I help that energy get molded into that perfection? So I really try to stay away from, people ask me all the time, oh, what do you see? Do you see something wrong? I even if I did, I would never say anything because it's not really my place. But I usually don't, because I've made a deal with my guides. I want to see perfection, and like a blueprint. And then I want to help reshape the energy to assist that blueprint into its perfection. So
I love that.
So that's my spiel for what I do here. So I'm going to let Lori get up, and I'm going to lie down, and she's going to demonstrate a little bit of what she does.
Do you have a pendulum?
I don't know if I do or not. I do somewhere. But yeah, okay. You might have to. My grandchildren play with my pendulums all the time, and they're all over my house after they leave.
So I've had the benefit of having sessions from Kim, and wow, she's amazing. She's very intuitive and very, thank you, just spot on. And it's just wonderful to be able to do that for each other and for other people. So my training is in Reiki. I do use, I do use crystals. So I'm going to just use some of Kim's here. And I use the ones that sort of call to me. I'm going to just put this calcite here, one here, and one here. Just to invite the energy to go into her chakras, her body system. Chakras are energy centers in your body, and they just can be aligned or misaligned. So what Reiki does is opens the chakras, it opens the different parts of the body that need to be released. So I sometimes will start with the head, and it's a hands-on healings modality. So I could either put hands away or on the body. Do you mind if I put my hands on your head? Okay, so sometimes the person might feel heat coming from my hands, or usually always a sense of relaxation, a very sense of deep peace. And Reiki is designed to promote homeostasis, which is bringing balance back into the body and to the emotional bodies as well. I also will move my hands and sometimes go on the throat chakra. So there's 7 major energy centers. There's many more. There's energy centers above the head. There's the crown. There's the throat, the heart, the solar plexus, sacrum, and root. And then there's also chakras in the hands and the feet and below the feet. And in Chinese medicine, there's meridians, which are energy, what would you call them? Energy grids. Grids, yeah. That the energy runs. Channels, yeah. So it's all energy. We're made of energy, right? Everybody is made of energy. So this is a way of moving the energy. And what I usually do as well is scan the body with using my feeling of my hands. You can sense can you feel that?
I can feel that, yeah.
So her energy body is extending out from her physical body, and I'm just scanning that to see how that feels. And Kim, you can feel that, right? Like a little bit of pressure. Is that how it feels? Okay.
Yeah, and like I can feel it moving up like a wave kind of.
Okay, wonderful. So I love that about Kim is when we're working together, she gives me feedback, and I love that. And usually when I'm doing a session, I'll close my eyes so that I can focus inward and find maybe any guidance that's coming towards me, or the intuition, where the intuition is leading me. One way you can use your intuition, I use a pendulum, which is, can I use your necklace?
It doesn't really come off.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, all right. So if you had a pendulum, you would just
use like this part of it, maybe.
Okay. We're gonna use Kim's necklace.
Yeah, it's very complicated to take off.
Okay. Well, yeah, we don't have one, so I could probably do it with my necklace. So anything, you can use anything. You could say, show me a yes. I'm not moving my hand, but you can see that the necklace is moving this way, means yes. Show me a no. So the necklace is moving this way. And this is just, coming from my higher self or my guidance. So I can say, so thank you. Am I a cat? No, thank you. Is my name Lori? You can ask, just test questions. So now I would use that as just scanning Kim, just going over her energy systems. And it looks like everything looks pretty good. We're getting yeses. So that's one way you can do it. There's other ways. So that looks pretty good. I do have a pendulum in my studio. Another way you can do is use your own body. So you just relax your body, and I'm going to stand this way. You can say, show me a yes. In my body, I'm not moving my body, it just goes forward. That's the way my body says yes. Show me a no. Okay, so my body just, if you saw that, just went back a little bit. That's a good way. If you don't have a necklace, you don't have a pendulum, you have your body, you can do it that way. Another way is muscle testing. You can say, right here, you've got electrical currents going in your fingers. You close that current, and this is my non-dominant hand. And then you can take your other hand like this and go, show me a yes. So I'm pulling on this, using a little bit of pressure. This is not moving. Show me a no. And it comes through a little bit easier. So that's another thing you can use. There's a lot of different ways, but those are just tools that you can use for testing. During my sessions, I do rely on my intuition a lot, and sometimes I will get a message to give to the client, and I test myself. I said, am I supposed to give this message? Yes or no. So sometimes it's just for my own awareness. Sometimes it's for the client's awareness. And when I first started doing that, I'm like, I don't know if I should say this, but when I am supposed to say it, I always get positive feedback that yes, that resonates with this person, and that's something that they needed to hear for guidance. So anyway, I would give a full session on the entire body, and then Kim would turn over and it would do another session in the back, so that everything is covered. All the organs, all the major energy centers are covered during the Reiki session. Reiki means universal life force energy, which is in all of us. It's in animals and plants. So you can give Reiki to your pets, to your children, to your plants, to your food, just whatever needs to have a boost. And everything benefits from positive energy. So
yes, it does.
Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. Shall we? Oh, you have the box.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so we are going to go out to the barn. That's my squeaky bed, not me. Just to clarify. But we're going to go out and we're going to meet the horses. And I'm a nature person, and you are. Yes, it's probably why we get along so well. But I use a lot of nature and animals, horses. My dogs probably will end up coming out with us too. So Good. We're going to put it on pause for a minute, and then we're going to take this out so that you can meet the horses, and I'll explain a little bit about why I find them so valuable to use in the healing process, especially on an emotional level. Okay, so we'll see you in just a minute. So here we are outside with Lori, myself, and the kiddos. We have Montana, we have Kai, and we have the party girl, Winter, our newbie. She's been here for 3 months now, and she kind of owns the place. So before we get started with this part of it, I would first like to dub, or knight, I should say knight, Madam Lori, Queen Lori, whatever, with Cowgirl of the Day.
Woo, thank you. Such an honor.
So as we talked about earlier, Lori channels messages, and she was woken up at very early, like 12 o'clock or whatever at night, and this is what she came up with. So I'm going to let her read this.
Yeah, so sometimes I'm just woken up in the middle of the night, and I was thinking about the horses, just reflecting, and all of a sudden I just kind of had a download of information. So I got up, got my notebook, and this is what I wrote. This is what came to me. This is from the Nature Beings. When two or more are gathered and joined in raised consciousness in attempting to connect and shift, the connections made by people the aha moments, are felt by the nature beings, and they experience a shift too. The grasses, the trees, etc. feel it. The inner earth beings were like elementals. They looked, they were small beings in my mind's eye. I saw them. They had greenery around them. And they said, raised consciousness is shared and uplifts all. We rejoice in these shifts and encourage you to seek deeper communion and connections in yourself, with others, and with the world around you. It raises the connection with all that is. The horses are sentinels of stored power, using their innate resources to heal, shift, and change the vibrations around them. Whether with humans, animals, wind, grasses, trees, etc., they fully participate. They are caretakers of the earth as you are. You are co-creators, fully able to consciously see your role, while the horses feel and know it naturally in the freedom of who they are. Let this wisdom bring you peace. When you ride the horses in shared devotion, the love and connection resonates from the hoofbeats deep into the earth and causes ripples of joy. All connection is felt and amplified by love. This builds the web of light that is growing stronger and brighter by the hour. The time is now for change, for peace, for unity. Rejoice in this message, for it heralds a new day for all.
Thank you, Lori. I just thought that was so beautiful, and I'm really glad that she's sharing that with us. One of the things, and I'm just going to kind of take it around for just a second, one of my favorite things about being with my horses is the noise of them eating. And I'm hoping that you can hear that. It is probably one of the most peaceful noises that I ever hear. And when I need that vibrational frequency fix, that is where I get it from. So we're going to take Kai, this lovely girl, she was raised in Montana, brought over to Vermont, and she was given to me. And I have been very blessed to have her for about 17 years. And we've bonded, and she's going to go in the round pen with me and show you a little bit of what I do with the horses and why I think they're so powerful at healing. So one of the reasons why I think horses are so important in the healing process is that they really work off of action. They don't work off of our words. They could care less what we're saying. They interpret what we're actually feeling. And a second ago, I was nervous about doing this, of course, because I don't like being in front of the camera. Well, I'm learning to. But, she felt that, and so it took me a minute to get a hold of her. So and it always, like, my horses are my regulation system. So when they aren't letting me approach them, rather than get frustrated or upset, I always ask myself, why? What am I feeling right now? Where's my energy? How can I lower my energy? So a lot of times when working with horses, I try to really ground myself first and just become part of the noise of the birds, the feeling of the breeze, and having my feet solidly planted on the ground. And I try to drive my energy down into the ground where it can really regain the earth energy and bring it up into my heart. And then I try to move from there. So all of my demonstrations that I do, I always start them that way before anyone gets here. And I, do this with my horses so they know I'm on board with them. So Kai came to me about 17 years ago as a 2-year-old. And she had some issues, so I ended up getting her for free, and I won't go into her issues because she doesn't have those anymore, so I don't want to label her. And so I did an awful lot of groundwork, and I do what's called at liberty work, where you don't actually have anything attached to them, you just move them. So I started off by just getting her to move away from me and discovering for myself how much pressure I needed, which isn't much now. Or actually it wasn't much before. Now sometimes it takes a little more pressure because she's so used to me. But in the beginning, I could stand this far back and move my arm and she was gone. So over time, I've had to self-regulate my energy to match her energy so that she wants to be with me and wants to do the work with me. So I would start her off by moving her away, and then I would move my body language to get her to turn into the other direction and go the other way. And again, how much pressure do you need? When do you need to back it off? And when do you need to accelerate on it again? So we did this a lot, and then I would do what they call the join up, and I would move her until I felt like she had her eye on me, and obviously she has it on the grass right now. So I might have to step up the plate so that she actually is listening to me and not thinking about the grass. And I might turn her and make her go a little fast in the other direction, and already she's looking at me. And her buddies. And then I would stop and see if she is ready to come over with me, which she's not. So what I would do is I would continue this until I could get her to actually come to me. And I'm going to quicken it up a little bit just for the fact that we're on camera. So then if she's going to be looking at me, then I know she's probably a good girl. Then I know she's ready, and I always introduce myself to horses with a little fist bump, and I let them bump my fist first, and then I know, like that, and then I know that they're ready to work with me. So I might ask her to come with me, and she's really paying attention to the grass, so I might have to move my body around a little bit to get her to stay interested in me and not the grass. And then if I stop, she should stop. And if I go, come on girl, she should come with me. If I turn around, she should also turn around with me. So now I have a horse that I wouldn't mind taking out on a trail ride because now we've made that connection. So these are kind of some of the things that I do with my horses, and then they're ready to work with other people as well. So when I use them with other people, they don't really mirror, they reflect your behavior, and then they send it out to you. So if I'm a really hyper person, they might constantly be running away from me. If I'm a really calm person to the point where I'm a little lethargic, they might not ever want to engage in me. So what horses can really teach people is how can you self-regulate your energy so that you can function in the workforce, in your family life, with your friends, because there are those times where we can't control other people, but we can control how we react to other people and to their actions. So do we need to sit back a little bit and then elevate and then sit back a little bit? And for me, it becomes a dance with my horses, and I absolutely love it. There's times I just spend hours out here laughing and moving them around and having them kind of come towards me. And it's an amazing connection to earth and to animals. And my dogs are finally quiet, but they're around here somewhere too. And they also add to the mix. They sometimes will, come and take over and start running around barking. And my horses are so used to them that they don't even react anymore. And so that gives you a lot of insight about those people that are constantly yelling at their children, reprimanding other people, always talking, always taking over the conversation. And there's nothing wrong with that. It usually comes from an insecure place, which is my German Shepherd definitely fits that bill. But it's gotten to the point where, blah, blah, blah. They don't even hear her barking. She can run around this round pen and they just look at her like, what? So horses can really help you because they're truthful and they bring out the authentic you. You can say, I've got this, I know how to do this, I've learned this, I've taught myself this, I know how to control my energy. And then I put them out here in the round pen with the horses, and the horses are like, you have no control over your energy. Let me show you how to control it. And rather than talk therapy, sitting across from a table from someone, it's amazing to me because you can get so much more from these guys in a short period of time, and you're not offended or you're not like feeling judged. They just react and then they disengage. And it's a pretty marvelous thing. So that is my relationship with the horses. And now we're going to pause it and go to Lori's house to see what it is she does with her music and her art. Okay, we're back here, and this time we're at location at Laurie's house.
Hello.
So I'll let her take over.
Hi. We wanted to show you my love for music, and I've played the piano. This is my new piano. It's a baby grand. I call it Baby G. And I've taught piano for over 25 years when we lived in Salem, Mass, and now I have a few students here as well. But my joy now is, and actually since I was a girl, I've been able to sit down at the piano and play music that just expresses how I feel, my emotions, and so in a way that's a part of my channeling, and for me that just allows the music to come through. I try to get that across to my students too, that music really comes from inside of you, and that's what I love to show people. So we're happy to do that, a little bit of that today.
So one of the things that I've been blown away with by listening to Lori play the piano is that she has this capability of being able to channel like a subject, a phrase, a word, and turn it into a beautiful piece of music. So I'm going to give her I think I'm just going to use one word, but I also want to invite the listeners, if you get a chance and you enjoy listening to this, feel free to comment on this video and just give her a phrase or a word.
Good idea.
And maybe we'll play that for you in the near future, in the beginning of one of our podcasts or whatever. So
that's a great idea.
All right. Well, go ahead and fix your bench so that you're all set up,
Okay.
and I'm going to go sit over there. Spotlight on Lori, and I'm going to throw to her a word for her to channel for us.
All right, thank you.
So Lori, I'm thinking forest.
Oh,
The forest.
forest. Okay.
I'm clapping.
Thank you.
So yeah, that's always blown me away that she can just, take a phrase and just come up with this. And it's always different when I hear it. It's always just as beautiful, and it's pretty amazing. So I'm going to take the little camera around right now, follow Lori, and she's going to show us the artwork that she does as well.
Okay, so I just have a couple of things. I've always enjoyed doing art since I was a little girl. would draw. I'd make cards for the family. I would make dolls out of those little empty ivory soap bottles, and make the clothes. So I was always painting, doing something, and I also enjoy doing needlework, like needlepoint, anything with my hands, anything to create. I've made these little gnomes. I have a bunch of them, and some of them were this big, but I gave them all away, and this one's going to go to Kim's house.
Yay!
But I also make, I made this, I love nature, and so this is all things that were found in the yard or in the woods, and it's on a scarf on a piece of wood that we hang on the wall. And it's lasted, for like 6 months so far, so that's been fun. Yeah. And then this is a collage piece that I did in an art class, and I really liked it because it's just a little bit of everything, some abstract, some nature. I thought this kind of looked like some mermaid or something.
Oh, it does look like a mermaid.
Yeah, in the water, and some grasses.
I'll bring it up close.
Yeah.
It does.
The dragonfly, and so. But I've got some other pieces that I've framed, and there also have been given them away, so I don't have them right here. But we certainly enjoy that. So yeah, I think creativity is something just that. This flows through you like a river. I do it with cooking, with gardening, with piano, writing. So it's something we can all do. Just relax and let it flow through. Let your own inner fire burn, or your inner water flow, whatever you want to call it. So that's what I like to do.
And that's pretty healing, to bring you in that state of peace all the time like that. That's great.
Thank you.
All right, so let's bring this over here again, and we'll sit down in the chair. So that brings you into our world a little bit so that you can get to know us a little bit better. And again, please like and subscribe, share with friends. We want to keep this podcast going so we can introduce a whole bunch of people to all different kinds of modalities of healing, and that sort of stuff. And what would you like to say?
It's just been a pleasure to have you come to get to know us a little bit better, and to know what we love to do. We'd like to know what you love to do, what lights you up. So please, comment, as Kim said. Let us know what brings you joy and creativity. And if you like this podcast as much as we enjoy bringing it to you, please like and subscribe to our channel so we can get it to more people.
And look forward to some of the connections that we're going to have to give gratitude to the people before myself, and just a lot of the different guests that have been on. We might talk about some of them as well, if not all of them, randomly. So yes, 4 years, and again, until next time, how is your intuition leading you to your next perfect step? Thank you.